up? Another day, another dollar. Another dollar, another day. It is now 6:09, something like that. Going home. My wife's got a job interview tomorrow, so that's cool. She's going to drop me off here tomorrow morning. And then after she drops me off, I'm going to after she drops me off, I'm going to catch a train home. What I have to do is they have a shuttle bus that goes, we're kind of like in the middle of nowhere off the 360. But they have a shuttle bus that goes from here to downtown where the downtown headquarters is at. So I'm going to catch the shuttle bus to there. So I got to go all the way downtown and then catch the train to go all the way home. But this gives me the opportunity to ride the train. So that'll be fun tomorrow. I got to make sure my phone is charged up for that. There'll be another, they only got one train here. Sorry. They don't have a multitude of trains like LA have. The moving infrastructure show. But the moving infrastructure is supposed to be a show about the moving infrastructure, like planes, trains, automobiles. And eventually I like to start covering a lot of different things that keep us moving, like highways, how they build highways, how you design a metro rail project from beginning to the end. What are the course how is the airport designed? How is it built? What type of laws do they have to think about before even worrying about where an airport goes? What decisions are made, stuff like that. 6:22, I want to see how traffic goes today. I wonder if the traffic's going to be real heavy. Beautiful bridge coming up. Traffic is not that bad, at least so far. I mean, it's a little heavy, but it's not like it is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when it's ridiculous. So tomorrow, there's going to be a nice little walk through downtown as well. So what I'm going to do is probably hang around. I'm not going to hang out the whole time tomorrow night. But what I want to do is go through downtown and because it's a little walk from where the Whole Foods is to the train station. It's a little bit of walk. It's about the same. Probably just a little bit longer than the distance that I did when I went to downtown before on the train, when I had to go to the job interview. It's a little distance, not much. It's just nice little walk. In fact, I need to walk anyway, so there you go. And I think it's going to be a nice little trip. I wish I had a bicycle. I think that would be so nice to have. That's something I want to get. Winter's coming up. So bicycle now may not be the best idea because I won't be able to use it that much when it starts freezing over. It doesn't snow here in Texas, but when it does snow, they shut down the city because they don't have flowers and they don't have salt like they do in Chicago. So until the ice melts, the city shuts down. And for like 3 or 4 days. It may take about 3 or 4 days for the ice to melt, depending on how bad the storm is. This past winter, it didn't snow at all. It was barely any snow. But it did get below freezing temperatures. It was like 30 degrees, 25 degrees. And at some point, I remember driving, and the sprinklers probably came on that night on the street, on the sidewalks where the grass is, like here. But it was grass that's well taken care of. And the sprinklers came on, and that froze over, and it got a little slippery there, but not like what you'll get in Chicago. That was ridiculous. Oh, not too bad so far. Alright, slowing down now. But it still isn't as bad as, if I left at 5. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's so much traffic. I swear, Metro Rail, we need it. And even if they start building Metro Rail, they won't come anywhere near here. This is too far out. I think they could really benefit even if they build a commuter line, just right in the center of this part here. Just build a train that went right through the center. One track, I think, will be fine. They can somehow split the tracks every once in a while to 2 tracks, so that the trains can go both ways, maybe like once an hour. I'm thinking like the Austin train does right now. I think it'll be good, something to eliminate this, because I would catch that train. If it ran once an hour up until like maybe 7 or 8, I'll wait an hour. If it ran once an hour or so, I'll wait. Then I'll walk down the hill, get on the train, and go home. And if it can't, especially if it went near my house, or if it let me out near a bus stop that was close to my house, I think that's what buses do. The buses are like the local lines, and the train is like the express line. They really need to. I swear, the high-speed rail, they need to get that going. In fact, speaking about high-speed rail, that's something that came up in the news recently, where high-speed rail is being built in California. It was approved. It's been speculated for many years, I mean for over a decade probably, and they finally got the go-ahead to start working on it. They came up with the business plan. They approved the business plan. I guess they got the EIR, which is the Environmental Impact Report. They're either working on it or they got it together. And it's going to provide transit, high-speed transit from Los Angeles. Well, basically, the first part is going to go from LA to about Fresno, which is not going to do much. That's not going to really, when that line is built, people should not look at the ridership of the train at that time. Because between Fresno and LA, there's not anything there. There isn't really much there. But they can only build a little bit at a time. Then from Fresno, I guess it's going to continue up to Oakland, or maybe not Oakland, but Sacramento. And then they're going to build a branch of it that's going to go through San Jose up to San Francisco. Eventually, they're going to build one that's going to go straight across from San Francisco to Sacramento. And then it's going to go from LA down to San Diego. Now, once the whole thing is complete, which will probably be 40 years from now, I'll be an old man. I'll be 80 years old, riding it for the first time, probably. It's going to take about 20 years to build the first phase. I will definitely want to be in LA when I turn 60. Wow, 60 years old. Woo! To ride that thing. Actually, I don't know how long. I have to look at it again, but it's going to take a while to build that thing. And it's a lot, because when you build a train system in a local city, it takes about 5 years or so. And that's not start to finish. We're talking about from the first shovel that the city council members dig into the ground, that local politicians, you know how they do the shoveling ceremony? From that point to the first day of operation, it takes 5 years. But can you imagine the amount of years it takes to plant it before the first shovel is even dug into the ground? It's another 5-10 years. Because you got to think about, they got to buy land, procurement. They have to do studies, earthquake studies, or land studies. If the ground is too soft, if it's hard, if it's going to go above ground, below ground, at grade, if it's going to be, they have to make a lot of different plans and also work within budget. So it can take about 15, 20 years to build one line. So the California High-Speed Rail just got approval for their business plan. Now they got to go and buy land. And even though they're using the right-of-way of current existing rail lines, the train will not operate on those tracks. They're going to have to build beside it. So in order to make room, they got to buy land from people to buy maybe an inch or two, like a couple of feet away from the main tracks and build that. Then after they buy all that land from landowners, and procure it, then they have to come up with safety aspects. I mean, trains going to be traveling at 180 miles per hour, maybe 150. I don't know the exact speed, but the ICE train in Germany is 300 kilometers per hour. That's 180 miles per hour, so 183 or something like that. So will the train go 180? Don't know. The Solar Express, I heard it can clock at 180 miles per hour, which operates between Boston and Washington, D.C. And that's the only high-speed rail they have in the United States. It's sad to know that there's only one line that provides high-speed rail. Here in Texas, there's been over 3 different organizations that tried to come up with a budget and build a high-speed rail to connect Dallas, Waco, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston. Each one of them failed. That will be an extreme importance. It will be extremely important to have that here, because all I got to do is hop on a train. If I need to go to Dallas, instead of taking 6 hours to drive to Dallas, wasting up gas, or to pay, I don't know, $100 or more for an airplane ticket, I can just hop on a train for maybe like $30 and get there within 2 or 3 hours. And then, instead of me spending, let's say I have a conference to go to, an overnight meeting. Instead of spending the night, it will save the company a lot of money if I left early in the morning, got in Dallas by, let's say, 10 o'clock in the morning, had my meeting, left at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, got home by 8. Wouldn't that be so much better than having to drive and then spend the night because I'll be too tired to drive? So then they have to get you a hotel and per diem. It's good for me because then I can spend the night in a hotel for free and I get per diem. But it costs money to the company. Because you're talking about last minute hotel rates, which is usually very high. A lot higher than when you plan 3 or 4 months ahead of time for a vacation. So those are the kind of things you got to think about. And this is the reason why we need more trains. And there's a lot of people who fight against it. But I guarantee you that the very people who fight against those trains are the very ones that are going to be using it themselves. Because they're going to see the value in having more trains. We need it. We need more transit. It doesn't make any damn sense why we don't have more. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little mad here. But all things considered, there is a budget that we have to keep. Those things are expensive. They're expensive to build, but it helps in the long run because they're inexpensive to maintain. People don't realize that. They're saying, well, build more busways. Instead of spending billions of dollars on a train, build a busway. Do you know how much money it costs to maintain a bus? It's a lot cheaper to maintain rail than it is to maintain buses. In the long run, it's cheaper to have a train than it is to have a bus. And that's always been proven. It's cheaper to maintain trains than they are to maintain planes. Sure, I can catch a Greyhound bus to Dallas, but it's more expensive. So, I don't know. And the train ticket from LA to San Francisco may not be $30. It may be like $150, $80. I don't know, but I'm sure it's going to cost a little bit of money. So, train systems, they really need to build that. It's imperative. It's needed. They were talking about building some type of magnetic propulsion train system from Orange County, which will be Anaheim Station, to Las Vegas. That may not be needed as much. There's not a whole lot of people going to Vegas from LA as much as people going from LA to San Francisco for business. The only time I can see where that train does a lot is when they have major conventions going on in Vegas, and there's a lot of people traveling from LA. But it would be nice if they had it, but I don't see that being the best idea to have if they plan on making money on it. In fact, it may take even 10 or 20 years for them to make money off of the LA to San Francisco train. That will take about 10, 20 years before they see any kind of money coming from that. Because it's going to be too damn expensive to build. Once they build it, it's easy to maintain it. The tracks don't require a whole lot of maintenance, nor does a train. Trains don't require a whole lot of maintenance. Trains don't get beat up like buses do. And it's all electric, so then the environment is beautiful because it's all electric. Yeah, we got compressed, we got alternative fuels and buses, hybrid buses. Oh, those are nice. Very nice. In fact, I like the fact that every single bus in Los Angeles County owned by the MTA is completely alternative fuels. They don't have any more diesel fuel buses at all. And if they are diesel fuel, they're hybrid buses. So it's half diesel, half electric, just like the Prius. So there's so much to say about that. It's cheaper to build busway. It's cheaper in the long run to build a train system that will eventually see profit a lot quicker than a busway will. So, anyway, I'm a train enthusiast. I love trains. And I wish I could ride more of it. And here in Austin, we only got one train. We got an Amtrak here too. Maybe one day I'll take the Amtrak somewhere real nice. Take you guys with me. And that'll be a nice little trip. There'll be standard issues, Amtrak train, nothing special. But maybe we will see something in the future. I'm guessing like 50 years from now, we're going to see trains everywhere. If Obama's plan works out, if he sets everything in motion so that the future presidents will have to do it, maybe we will see more trains traveling throughout the country where we can go from LA to Detroit within one day on one train. Maybe that's going to happen. I don't know. But maybe in my lifetime, maybe not. It's who's to say. Future generations will definitely have something to look forward to if they go for it and just go ahead and do it. This is needed. I would rather catch a train than to drive. I love to drive, don't get me wrong. I love driving cross country. And that is more like I would rather drive cross country if I'm either moving and I got to bring my car with me. If I'm moving, or if I'm doing it for pleasure, just because I just want to drive cross country. That's fun. There's nothing wrong with that. But if what I'm looking for is, if I need to get to a city within a few hours, then catching a plane, you pay for it. You have to pay for that. You have to pay for the luxury of leaving one city, and then 3 or 4 hours later, or 5 hours, depending on where you're going, you're in a different city. You got to pay for that, of course. Like from here to LA, with 2 stops, because the stop said there's 2 stops on the Southwest one. There's a non-stop one actually, but if I want to pay less, I can. Southwest Airlines will take me to El Paso, Texas, and then it will stop in Phoenix, Arizona, and then it'll drop me off at LAX. Then it continues on because then it goes north to Oakland or something like that, I believe. It goes one of those cities, Oakland, San Francisco, Sacramento. So it's actually a 4-hopper plane, but I'll be getting off at LA. For about $100, I can probably get that on a good special. But if it's not a special, I'll be spending about $200. I catch a Greyhound, I'll probably spend about $90 one way, $80 one way, $180 round way. If I catch the Amtrak, I'll probably spend a little bit more money because Amtrak is not cheap. They're really not. And I can imagine those high-speed rails not being cheap. They're not going to make it feasible to where I want to ride it because it'll be too expensive. I would rather catch a train. Don't get me wrong, I love to fly. I'm not scared of flying. I love flying. It's like a thrill. The takeoff and landing is the best part of flying. I love it. But I love trains more. And it would be nice if there was a high-speed train that went from here to LA. I would catch that in a heartbeat. That would be so freaking awesome. But there isn't one. They have an Amtrak that does it. There's an Amtrak that goes there, but it travels about 90 miles per hour on a good straightaway, 45 in major cities, maybe 55, and 35 if it's in a congested city like downtown area. So it can't really go that fast. So you're probably spending 2 or 3 days on the train. If I drive there myself, I could probably